$150,000 executive protection dog? Rich LA homeowners are snapping them up. Why are they snapping them up? Well, because crime and break-ins and robberies and shootings are out of control in LA. What you saw is during the pandemic, remember all those celebrities that were leaving? You had Elon Musk, you had Joe Rogan, you had Ben Shapiro. And all these entities are just like, you know what? I think I'm going to go somewhere else. California, incredible taxes. Plus, weather isn't that great, but it comes down to safety of my family is important. And so the people who didn't leave, they're there. Maybe they don't want to hire 24/7, security guard for their home, for their loved ones. What do? They get a $150,000 protection dog. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Make sure you head on over to our members only section. We've got content there that you won't find anywhere else. And it's because it's content that we can't show anywhere else. $10 a month. You won't be disappointed. We're dropping at least a couple of videos a week. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I fully endorse it. You know what this headline kind of screams out to me though? 150 grand, 150 large for a dog. What's that say about people who can't afford a $150,000 dog? What do they do? Hey, I got the bucks here. I can fund my own, private security force. I've got machine gun turrets on my house, and we got somebody running around with a machete in their, sleeve, and they're a ninja, and I'm going to protect my house. But everybody else, working class in LA, what are they doing? What are they doing? Yeah. I mean, it's just, or anybody other than just the ultra wealthy, because who's going to spend 150 grand on a dog? Well, let's find out. Before Arteom Bulgadarian bought his Sherman Oaks home, that's a nice neighborhood. It belonged to baseball star Yasiel Puig, who was burglarized of 170 grand worth of jewelry and other items while he was out of town. In today's day and age, it doesn't benefit you to be a known wealthy individual, does it? All that does is put the big, huge target on your forehead and says, come rob my home. Come assault my family. Because these criminals know no matter who it is, odds are they're going to get away with it. I mean, there's going to be a little more emphasis put on tracking down the criminals that break into some, famous person's home or some really wealthy person's home. Yeah, that's going to happen. But still, you've got a bunch of cases out there. Well, you know what? They came in, they did a good job. We're busy working on other criminal activity, follow up. So sorry for your loss of your 170 grand worth of jewelry. So Bulgadarian, 44, has been vigilant about security since moving in, especially with 3 young children and a job running an aerospace manufacturing company that often necessitates late nights at the office. He owns several guns and has equipped his nearly 5,000 square foot, 6-bedroom home set behind an iron gate with surveillance cameras and an alarm system. A neighborhood watch group patrols the area around the clock. At what point do you say, I'm out? I'm done. I don't want to live in LA anymore. How hard do you hunker down? I was joking about the machine gun turrets on corners of the home, but that's basically what we're talking about here, right? So you got a big monster home, 5,000 square feet. That's a big home. That'd take you like an hour 15 to measure if it had some angles. If you're an appraiser, 6 bedrooms. Yeah, it's going to take you a long time to go through that house. That's a big house. It's set behind an iron gate. All right. This doesn't really feel like a prison, but it's because we're safe. With surveillance cameras. All right. It does feel a little bit more like a prison, and an alarm system. Yeah. Okay. We are living behind, all the security because things are so dangerous, because so much criminal activity is taking place in LA. And then there's Rocky. Article goes on to say, and then there's Rocky. Nothing gives Bulgadarian peace of mind like his 2.5-year-old German Shepherd, which was bred, selected, and trained to be a high-performance protection dog. Unlike a police or military canine, a protection dog is a family pet first and foremost, but one that is prepared to attack an assailant if necessary, while guarding a home or when out in public with its owner. So, it's a pet that's capable of tearing apart that intruder. Okay. Yeah. those they're smart dogs, right? German Shepherd, they are smart dogs. They know what's up. They know who the bad guy is. Bulgadarian bought Rocky as a puppy from Delta Canine Academy and signed him up for a rigorous training program at the company's facility in North Hollywood, spending $70,000. Not uncommon for top-of-the-line dogs. $70K for a dog. I don't know about you. Yeah, that's not in my future. That's not my future. If I'm having to make that decision, I'm living elsewhere. Seriously. Because what if you're in your car and you're out and about? I mean, that criminal activity is still out there, right? You know that your home's a target. You know you're in Sherman Oaks. You know you're in a good neighborhood. People know you got money. People know if they rob your home, odds are they're going to get some stuff that they can sell to go get their next drug fix. Or, whatever it is. Maybe their livelihood is just straight up robbing people, like it's become so popular. So what's the price that you would put for your family's security, especially when that particular house has been burglarized? He said, $70,000. You amortize it over 10 to 15 years, because that's how long a dog, lives, whatever the dog's life is. And it's not that big of a price tag. Well, not to you. To me, that's a big price tag. That's an enormous price tag. But then again, if, you are conscious of safety issues, like all the break-ins going on, you get yourself a real damn expensive dog. German Shepherd. Get it, that training. The elite animals, typically German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois. All right, I know I'm butchering that. I know somebody's just going to get upset with me, but man, dogs just aren't my thing. Dobermans, Cane Corsos, or a mix of those breeds. Cane Corsos. I don't even know what that is, are marketed under names such as personal canine bodyguards and executive protection dogs. I have an executive protection dog. What? Why? You're not even an executive. I know, but I'm pretending, and I have a dog that protects me. Amid a spate of high-profile crimes in upscale parts of Los Angeles, they've become highly sought after among the rich, many of whom worry about being targeted. That's the deal, right? And you know what? Everybody else is worried about this criminal activity happening to them as well. But they don't have the 70 to 150 grand to fork out on a dog. Protection dogs, they say, provide an immediate layer of frontline defense, unlike security cameras, which barely show an intruder on the property, and only if the devices happen to be pointed in the right direction. It's so true, isn't it? I've got a bunch of Wise cameras at my house because I had a son who went down some roads that meant there were some folks that came around my house that are no longer with us as well. And they were involved in activities that some might consider to be nefarious. And so when you've got those things around and you got a bunch of cameras, I've got a bunch of cameras, it still doesn't do any good, right? It doesn't really do any good. And it's not me they're after. But if they know that somebody else is living there that might be up to no good, we don't really know. It's tricky, right? It's tricky. But cameras, they're good for, what I think of is, well, I'll be able to give the police the footage of who broke into my home and stole all my stuff, right? I'll be able to do that. And then I'm kind of thinking, how's that really help me out? Through the Wise cameras, you can talk to people and you can shock people. Hey, what are you doing there? But you got to catch them in the act. So the cameras, they're kind of useless, aren't they? They're kind of useless. I have one inside my house, inside my kitchen and living room, because it gives a good panoramic of, the certain points of where, point of entry might be. We got a slider here, front door here, all that stuff. But when you really think about it, good luck with that. It's not really going to do much. Does it distract people from coming in? I don't know. I do see people coming to the front door that look up at the cameras. They look up and they're like, oh, okay. So even if it does just that, it's probably worth it, right? So even if police are summoned, they can be slow to respond, if at all. So homeowners who can afford it are being more proactive. Every celebrity client at one time or another and billionaire has said to me these exact words: "What about a dog? What about a dog?" Said Chris Herzog, owner of the Bodyguard Group of Beverly Hills. They're status symbols, and over time, they can even be cost-saving. People don't want to pay $400 an hour for 2 off-duty police officers. No, they don't. And you know what? Honestly, Most people can't afford that. And again, honestly, most people can't afford 70 grand to 150 grand for a dog, but that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about people who are really serious about their safety concerns. It's like, that's the price you pay to live in LA. Is that worth it? It's not to me. It's not to me. And I feel like crime is elevating in my area of Bellevue. Just last week we had and I've talked about this before. I thought it was going to be a homeless dude because we had a homeless encampment, not an encampment, but a hotel get purchased, and they're putting a bunch of homeless people in there. Not far from my house, but we had a stabbing happen. Guy got stabbed 13 times, just Microsoft country, just up the street from me. And I was like, that had to have been a homeless person. It wasn't. It was one Microsoft employee stabbing another employee. And the one guy didn't know the other guy at all. It sounds like the guy's going to live. But he got stabbed in the back like 13 times for no particular reason. We don't really know why. So random stuff like that, it seems like that's happening all the more. Is a dog going to help you? Well, if your dog is with you. But I think what most folks are kind of realizing is, you know what? Maybe LA isn't for me. Maybe Portland's not for me. Maybe Seattle's not for me. Maybe San Francisco isn't for me. And you know where we really see that come through is in the data on Portland. The exodus of folks from Portland. Used to have huge in-migration numbers. Now, people are going elsewhere. People are going to the burbs because Portland's kind of done it to themselves. So Herzog's firm links customers with various security service providers, including canine trainers who sell trained guard dogs for 55 grand. A dog is always my recommendation if you're not going to have a gun in the house, he said. Man, was it The View or, no, it was some terrible show. It was some woman who did not agree with, let's just put it that way. And she had a specialist come on and they're talking about kids getting a hold of guns and, shooting themselves or shooting each other. And, they were saying, now, what are some of the best things that you can do if you have a gun in the home? Well, you know what? Make sure you have the gun locked up and in a case and way over here. Make sure you have the bullets way over here and, not accessible to the child. And all I can think of is, or the homeowner. Bill Burr does a great bit where he talks about, I know you're here to break into my home and assault my family, but give me just a moment. I need to fiddle around and get my gun case open and, get my ear protection on and get my shooting glasses on. And then I got to go run and get the bullets from the other room. And I got to put them in my gun and, I got to load up my shotgun, whatever it is you're going to do. It's not really how life works, is it? Somebody comes in, you either got a gun that's already loaded, safety's on, maybe you click the safety off, and then you go to town on that burglar. And then you probably end up in jail, right? Yeah, because the burglar didn't have a gun and you did, but you freaked out and you didn't know what to do and you thought they were going to assault you, thought they were going to assault your wife, your kids, whatever. So, having a gun in the house isn't necessarily the greatest idea ever. But I feel better with that than, all this other stuff. The dog? I guess if I'm going to go to this extent, then there's a reason I'm living in LA. And it's because LA is the culture that my job needs me to be in. And that's where you got to be. And that's where this comes down, right? That's where these $150,000 dogs come down. This is just, it's getting ridiculous, but it's always been that, right? Wealthy people can pay whatever they want for whatever they want. And, it's going to work out for them. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Describing a feeling of growing lawlessness, affluent Angelenos point to double-digit increases in burglaries and property crime, smash and grab thefts at high-end stores, and brazen follow-home robberies in which wealthy people are tailed from restaurants, bars, and boutiques, and then robbed by armed thieves. Two protection dog brokers said the murder of Jacqueline Avant in her Beverly Hills home in 2021 led to a spike in inquiries. Remember that? Super wealthy, just capped. I'm going to break in. Luxury real estate agent Brandon Williams said protection dogs have become so popular among his mega wealthy clients in LA that he's now in the market for one himself. Because he sold so many mega wealthy clients' homes, he can afford it. especially after a neighbor who was robbed at gunpoint in Beverly Hills. Williams had tasked the same broker his mom used to buy her protection dog, a German Shepherd imported from Germany, with finding him a suitable animal this year. So now we've got dog brokers. Can you get me a dog? Can you get me a really good dog? I want him just to bite the nuts off the next guy that comes through that door. I will say they're not cheap. The ones I'm looking at are between 60 grand and 100 grand, he said. It's a whole other level of training. We're not talking about doggy daycare here. Okay. Yeah. Operating a protection dog business is a labor-intensive pursuit. Savline, a breeding and training company in Montana, employs 11 full-time staff members and produces no more than 18 adult protection dogs annually. So high-intensity training to go into these dogs. To be very blunt, our dogs that were born in 2022 are being sold at a price of 150 grand, founder Kim Green said. It's a coveted product. You know, I talk about demand and supply. There is great demand for expensive dogs in LA right now, which kind of tells you where things are at, right? It's the whole ecosystem. Man, you couldn't pay me to live in LA. I mean, I can barely tolerate Seattle, and I don't even live there. You know, I live in Bellevue. But you just kind of feel things not going in the right direction. But I think people feel that in a lot of cities across the United States, and maybe even in towns that were once considered, you know, fairly safe. We've just got this whole thing going on, and I'm not sure what we're going to do to, you know, to reel it back in and make people feel safe again. But it's going to start with throwing some people in jail, prosecuting some people, and getting some bad guys off the streets. And that's going to take some pretty substantial change. I don't think we're anywhere close to that right now. So in the meantime, get your badass a dog. A dog. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm not going to read the whole article because there's a lot of information here. We got some happy people with their big dogs that are looking pretty safe. And I've got man's best friend and my guard dog. We're taking deposits on yuppie puppies we're taking deposits on yuppies. I would like a large yuppie. We're taking deposits on puppies as young as 4 months of age for delivery 2+ years later, she said. We can't create the assets quickly enough. So like I said, you had some massive demand there. Supply, inelastic, right? The inelasticity, the supply versus demand curve. How about that for some ridiculous econ? Can't make these dogs fast enough because they're born and then you got to put the training into them. And unfortunately, you know, it's not like a Bitcoin where you just go and mine it. It's just boot up a whole bunch of computers and, you know, go that route. Can't do it. Got to wait for the training, and that takes time. Trainers say a common misconception is that such dogs are vicious and out of control. Rather, the animals are bred for temperament, intelligence, and stability are key, and taught to be compliant and calm under pressure. The goal is an adaptable, even-keeled animal that can accompany and defend its owner anywhere. It's like those dogs you see with the police, the canine unit, and those dogs you see at the airport. You're kind of worried, but when they come by you, you're like, yeah, that's a really well-trained dog. And they are. And they're just kind of, you know, marching around, doing their thing, sniffing stuff out. They're looking for the bombs, right? They're looking for the bombs. These are good, solid companions that take care of their family, said November Hawley, president of Harrison Canine, which imports German Shepherds from Germany and trains them at 25-acre compound in South Carolina. They're not trained to kill. We don't train killers. They're trained to stop the threat. And that's what you needed to do, right? That's what you needed to do. Man, for 150 grand, and you still got to pick up its poop, right? And so this isn't just about LA either. They're in Miami. They're on yachts. They're in the Caribbean. They're in Canada. They're in Thailand, Holly said. Harrison K9's extremely niche client base is in the upper 3 to 4% financially and includes professional athletes, business moguls, Oscar-winning actors, A-list celebrity couples, and the traditional affluent family. I bet you, who was it? Oh, it was Robert De Niro. Had that gal break into his house and start stealing Christmas presents from underneath his tree. He and his daughter that was visiting for Christmas were upstairs asleep. Comes down and a police officer saw the person broke into Bobby De Niro's house. I bet you Bobby wants a dog now, right? What do you think? Bobby, you need a dog? You want a dog for your Christmas presents? All right. I think that's about it. That's enough for me. The article, you can check it out. It's the LA Times, and I'll have it on the Discord channel. If you haven't checked out the Discord channel, we got a lot of cool stuff going on there. My fun thing there is the rock on segment. Just post video after video of famous rock videos that you haven't seen in decades. Talk about ridiculous stuff. We've also got all of the stuff. All of the individual podcasts are on there. Private content is on there. Discord is free. It's a community. Love to have you join. It's reasonable plus. There'll be a link for it here in this YouTube video. Thanks in advance. We'll catch up soon. Bye for now.